Okay, our topic for today is proportional relationships, specifically tables and equations. We did this earlier in the year, but you should have your notebook ready so you can take notes, anything you forgot, and that way you'll be ready for your quiz this week. Okay, let's start off with those definitions. And first of all, what is a proportional relationship? And what that is a relationship that is constant. It doesn't change between two variables, a constant ratio between two variables. And usually we talk about our variables as x and y. They don't have to be, but that's what we're going to use today. All right, we are going to talk about something called the constant of proportionality, and we use the special letter K for that. And we're going to talk about finding it by dividing our y variable by our x variable. Okay, and finally, the equation for a proportional relationship is going to look something like this. Y is equal to K, whatever we determine K to be, times X. Okay, hopefully you remember some of that. So let's go through a few examples using tables today. All right, this is a table that shows the price in dollars for the number of roses that somebody buys. Okay, and I'm going to put next to this, I'm going to put X for the number of roses, and Y is the variable that stands for price. And remember I said that our constant of proportionality is Y divided by X. Okay, so for each of these ratios, each of this is a relationship between these variables, we have to determine if y divided by x is the same. Okay, these are pretty easy numbers. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 18 divided by 6 is 3. And if you do that for each of these ratios, and you always need to check them all, you'll find that they are all equal to 3. And that makes this a proportional relationship. Okay, and since that ratio y over x is equal to 3, we say K, the constant of proportionality, equals 3. K equals 3. And if I want to write an equation, remember y is equal to K times x, so I simply say y is equal to 3x. Right? And that makes sense if you look at the table. Every y value is equal to 3 times whatever x is. So for each of these, we want to determine if they're proportional, come up with our constant, and then put it in the form of an equation. All right, let's do just a couple more. Okay, this one is about the price of a new brand of coffee in different size bags. And we have 3 ratios, and I'm going to call the ounces X and the price Y, because the price depends on how many ounces we buy. And we want to also figure out what Y over X is equal to. Okay, so I'm going to do the first one, and to get that, I'm going to do $2.10 divided by 6. Okay, $2.10 divided by 6, and that comes out to, looks like 35 cents. Okay, let's try the next one. $2.80 divided by 8, y over x, is also 0.35. And the last one, $5.60 divided by 16, is also 35 cents. And we would say it's 35 cents per ounce. Okay, so what we just found out is that it is proportional. And we found our constant to be 0.35. Once you have that, it's easy to do your equation. My y values are always equal to 0.35 times whatever the x value is. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to do one more with you because this one looks a little different. I just wanted to point out that sometimes we have our x and y in rows and sometimes they are in columns. In this one, the number of people is going to be x, and the cost of some tickets, let's say, is y, because the cost depends on how many people there are. Okay, and so I would do my ratio in a separate column, and obviously 950 divided by 1 is 950. Okay, now for each other one, we need to determine if it also comes out to $9.50. If I divide 19 by 2, sure enough, I get 9.5, and we know that's the same. And we're dollars and cents, so it should be 950. 28.50 divided by 3 is also 950. And the same goes for 38 divided by 4. And what are we saying? We're basically saying it's $9.50 per ticket. And oh, by the way, we also just learned that is called a unit rate. Unit rate is the same as our constant of proportionality. Okay, so we can say this is definitely proportional. We can say K is equal to 9.5. And from that, we can write our equation. Y, the value of y, is always equal to 9.5 times x. And in common words, we would say the total price of tickets, total number of dollars, is equal to $9.50 times however many people there are buying tickets. Okay, now I want you to try these. Here's what I want you to do. There are 3 tables. I want you to tell me whether each one is proportional or not. Right? Proportional or not. And you should do that by figuring out y over x for each ratio and see if they are the same for the whole table. If they are, I want you to tell me what k is, the constant of proportionality, and then write the equation for the table. So I'm going to give you, actually you take a few minutes, pause your video, and come up with your answers for those in your notebook, and then come back and see how you did. All right, here we go. Table number 1 is proportional because each time I divide y by x, 12 divided by 3 is 4, 20 divided by 5 is 4, and so on. All the same, my constant of proportionality is 4, and my equation is y equals 4x. Right. Number 2, I did 15 divided by 3 and I got 5, but look what happens. 17 divided by 4 is 4.25. I don't have to go any further. I can tell that this is not a proportional relationship because they all need to be the same. So the answer is no for that one. And the last one is a little interesting because y is smaller than x. That's okay. You're still going to do it the same way. And when I divide 4 by 6, I get a repeating decimal, but I can also write it as a fraction, simplified, which is 2/3, and that's the same for each of these. So I'm going to use a fraction. My constant is 2/3, and the equation would be y equals 2/3 times x. Okay? All right. All right, that's all I have. Okay, don't forget to fill out your Google form that was attached to today's lesson. That will show me that you watched the video and will help you with your classwork participation grade. All right, thank you very much.